Alabama already heading into today had the number one recruiting class in the country, and yet in the past 24 hours, they added not one, not two, but 3 more 5-star recruits. You can't make this stuff up. 3 5-star recruits in a 24-hour span. Oh man, I can't believe it. The Alabama dynasty's falling off. Nick Saban's losing his touch. This Alabama team, they're soft. They're not like they used to be and blah, 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 blah. Y'all know how the conversation goes. Everybody was talking about it this year. And hey, maybe they're right. Alabama, they're not the same Alabama they used to be. And maybe, just a maybe, they're losing their touch. We saw it all throughout the season. It's starting to appear and seem like the Alabama dynasty is coming to a near end. At least, that's what your idiots out there believe. I'm just playing with y'all. I don't believe any of that bull crap. And to be honest, anybody that keeps up with college football and you actually watch it, which is a good majority of the people that's already subscribed and are part of our community, you know that's a load of horse crap as well. Look, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Well, not really, but you get the point. It's just a saying, whatever. But Alabama, they're not falling off anytime soon. People out there got to understand something. There's a reason we call it the Alabama dynasty. Because that's what it is. Dynasties go on for at minimum 10, 15, 20 years. There's a reason we never even thought about considering putting Clemson in that dynasty category after having 2 championships. Because we see that all the time. Yeah, anybody can have a great couple of years back to back or a really good 4 to 5 year stretch. But not too many teams can say they dominated college football for at minimum 15 years like Alabama has. And what happened this year should just go to prove and show you that Alabama is that good. They're ranked 5th in the country, or people are trying to say they're falling off. Think about that. Let that sink in. Alabama lost 2 games. They're 10-2. They're a good football team, and yet people think the dynasty's over. I'm sorry, it's just laughable to me. Like, are we being for real? And I could understand it if Alabama got blown out in these games, but they lost on last second plays. It amazes me to say the least. But anyways, getting on topic with this video, the reason I've gathered you all here today is because we gotta talk about what Alabama just did. And I'm not gonna lie, as an Alabama fan myself, it straight up shocked me. This is flat out insane. Going into signing day, Alabama already had the number 1 class, but it somehow, someway got better. On signing day alone, Alabama added 3 more 5-star recruits to already what was ranked as the number 1 class. At this point, Alabama's just having fun with it. This recruiting class is utterly ridiculous. We're going to talk all about that. We don't got time to beat around the bush. That's the intro. Oh yeah, we're also on the road to 260K subscribers before Christmas. So if you like college football content, y'all know the intro. If you want to be a part of our community, consider subscribing. We don't sugarcoat things on this channel. We keep it real, tell it how it is, blah, blah, blah. Shut the crap up, Matt. Now without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, to be honest, I gotta be upfront with you guys. I'm overwhelmed with trying to keep up with everything that's happened on National Signing Day. There's just way too much stuff to cover. I can't talk about everything, so if I miss something, just tweet at me and I'll talk about it in the next video. Now, before we get into the Bama stuff going on, I gotta address some other stuff. I see not too many people talking about this or mentioning it, but it did catch my eye. Auburn has already jumped into the top 25. And when I say top 25, obviously I'm talking about recruiting, and that's insane because they was in the 50s before Hugh Freeze even got there. So for Hugh Freeze to take Auburn from the 50s to the top 25 in what? Couple of weeks? Yeah, that's pretty dang impressive. You can say what you want about Hugh Freeze. You can dislike him for what he did in the past. I get that. You can like him. Doesn't matter. The dude knows what he's doing. The guy's just a good football coach. And I know most people are going to point to, oh, well, he beat Alabama twice, and that's what many people give him credit for, but he's much more than that. He's a good coach, and he's already proving it early on at Auburn. Me personally, if I'm an Auburn fan, I'd be feeling pretty good about myself. Moving on to our next topic, I'll talk more about this later in the week, but former West Virginia quarterback JT Daniels, we all know him. He's played for dang near every conference. He's going to Rice. Yeah, I know, I'm about as shocked and confused as you watching this right now. They gotta make an ESPN 30 for 30 on the downfall of JT Daniels. There's a 15-month span. He went from the starter for one of the best teams in the country in Georgia to now playing for Rice. And hey, you can take that disrespectfully if you want. I don't care. Gosh, man, life, it definitely humbles you fast. I don't even know what to really say about it. I mean, I can't say I'm shocked by this because I don't think any of these other big-time schools were really going after him, and that's why he ended up at Rice. Really weird situation because I even thought with him going to West Virginia, it was going to be a great fit, and he could potentially be a top 2 or 3 round NFL draft prospect as a quarterback. When you look at JT, he's got the perfect and ideal body build of an NFL caliber quarterback. For some reason though, at the college level, whether you want to blame this on bad luck, injuries, coaching staff, whatever you want to put it on, it hasn't worked out. JT, I'm wishing you the best of luck, but I will not be tuning in to Rice football games. Last but not least though, before we get on to the main topic, do want to bring this up. What about Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss? Quietly, barely are in the top 50. I get it, it's Ole Miss. They don't expect to have a top 10 recruiting class, but this is kind of embarrassing. When you got Stanford of all schools out recruiting you with their academic standards that they have put in place, it is embarrassing. Although it doesn't look good when it comes to recruiting, I have to remind myself and remind many of you out there that Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin, they pride themselves on the transfer portal. We saw the same thing happen last year. I think Ole Miss led the country in transfer portal guys coming in. So with the bad news, you can take the good news. The good news is Ole Miss is really good in the transfer portal. Bad news is the recruiting, not so hot. Do what you please with that information. But finally, moving on to the main topic, the main encore, the main reason you clicked onto this video, we gotta talk about Alabama. It's been a minute since I talked about the Tide. Well, not really. I talked about them a few days ago, but it seems like forever ago. I don't know why. As most of you know, if you've been keeping up with the channel, you would know that I don't really dive into the recruiting landscape all too much. I keep up with it, but not as much as you probably think I would, or even most fans. I don't keep up with every single recruit that my team's going after, or really any team, because on the grand scheme of things, I don't think it matters that much. Do not, and let me repeat, do not get what I just said wrong. Yes, recruiting matters. Recruiting does matter, and you could argue and say it's the most vital point of college football. What I'm saying is, I know my team's going to get the fair share of 4- and 5-star recruits, so it doesn't matter if we lose out on 1 or 2 and 1 guy decommits, or we get this 5-star there and there and blah, 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 blah. So that's the reason I don't get caught up in this big mess of, dang, my team, which is Alabama, we need to get every single 5 and 4-star out there. I don't believe that way. And I've told you this time after time, I'd rather have the 3-star recruit that's going to give me 100% effort and commitment over the 5-star that's going to walk in entitled, wanting money, wanting this, wanting that, and he's going to give me 70% effort. At the very end of the day, I don't care if you have a 3, a 4, a 5-star by your name. I don't care. I want guys to come to Alabama that live, breathe, eat, sleep football 24/7. I mean this 100%. I could care less about what star is beside your name. I also don't want you guys to get that twisted, because yes, we do find entertainment and value in talking about these 5 and 4 stars. Am I going to sit up here and say I don't get excited when Alabama lands a 5-star recruit? Absolutely not, because I do. It does matter. Because more times than not, look at the facts. 5-star recruits are the best players at the college level, and they have the best shot of getting to the NFL. I get that. I understand it. So that's why we do put labels on these 5 and 4, 3 and 2-star recruits. It's more so of, and this is where I'm going with this, I don't think it's everything, and I don't get too worked up in it. I say all that to say this. With Alabama in this insane #1 recruiting class, it's just getting stupid at this point. Within the last 9 days, count them, 9 days, Alabama's gotten 4 more 5-star recruits. Yeah, that's right. You heard me correctly. 4 5-star recruits in 9 days. It's crazy, it really is. Yesterday, for example, out of nowhere, Alabama flipped the 5-star offensive tackle that was committed to Iowa. He announced he's going to Bama. And that's a really big one if you got to ask me, because Alabama needs help on the offensive line, especially with a couple starters leaving. To go along with that, Alabama also got I guess you could say, a pretty decent running back, 5-star recruit Justin Haynes. Yeah, I think we can all agree that's not too shabby. Oh yeah, and let me bring this up too. They didn't just get that 5-star running back. They also got Richard Young, who is also a 5-star running back. 2 5-stars. I don't even know what to say about that. Some schools have never even gotten 1 5-star running back, and Alabama got 2 in 1 class. And to put the cherry on top of all of that, some of the biggest news came out today, and really it's the main reason I'm making this video. 2 more 5-star teammates announced that they're going to Alabama. Let me repeat that. Not 1, but 2 more 5-star teammates are going to Alabama. One of those being James Smith, who is a top 10 national player, #1 defensive lineman, and the other one being Qua Rasal, who is number 25 in the country and the #1 linebacker. And as you can see right here, Alabama now has 6 5-stars. 6 in their 23 class. I'm running out of words to use. I'm just going to stick with what I said at the beginning. It's insane. Even for your big-time name brands like Ohio State, Michigan, Georgia, Alabama, if you can get 1 5-star, maybe 2, you're clapping, hollering. That's a good recruiting class. But to get 6? Like I said, I don't even know what to say. I want y'all to look at this. Just flat out stupid. Alabama has the #1 running back in the country, the #1 safety, the #1 edge player, the #1 offensive lineman, the #1 linebacker, and last but not least, the #1 defensive lineman. I'm going to say this once again. Alabama already heading into today had the #1 recruiting class in the country, and yet in the past 24 hours, they added not 1, not 2, but 3 more 5-star recruits. You can't make this stuff up. 3 5-star recruits in a 24-hour span. And I'm going to show you this once again. Do you notice something out of these #1 players? 4 of them out of 6, they're on the defensive side of the ball, which in my humble opinion, that's great news. Because Alabama, the defense, it was shady, it was wishy-washy all throughout the season, and I think maybe possibly all 4 of these guys you see, the #1 player at their position, they can come in next year and start right away. And I don't mean that as disrespect to the guys that are currently playing. This just goes to show and prove how good these guys are coming out of high school. I could say a lot more. There is so much stuff going on in the college football world. I am very curious. Let me know your thoughts down below. But